I'd never failed anything in my life. Every time I looked in the mirror, I'd see a failure.
So I'm just going to march myself to fucking death.
I thought I was finished. I thought, I'm just going to keep walking now till I break down. I thought, what can I do that no one else, no other human being has ever done in history? 1,000 miles, carrying a 35-pound pack of an average of 40 miles a day. We start driving down, we pick up the lads, we get Andy, we get Charlie, and we make our way down to the start point at Land's End. The journey on the way down to the start point was exciting. I'd trained for 6 months. I'd never trained that hard for anything in my whole life. So I knew that I trained as best as I could. I wanted to get there and I wanted to get started. So all I was thinking is get to the start point and just get cracking on that 1,000 miles.
We are here. Welcome to the sunset. Chips time. Well, I think I'm just going to have chips today, but normally I have everything. I like kebab, chips, sausage, curry sauce.
Oh, are you still training or what?
5 a.m. start, get up, have a coffee, have some breakfast, hydrate, make sure my kit's all good to go, and then set off at 05:30. So 05:13, no matter what, we're setting off in the morning. And that, my friends, is a quality meal. We have everything that's going to go in there is going to absolutely make me perform like an absolute beast.
The night before the challenge was terrible. Yeah, I was excited to go, so I wouldn't have slept very well anyway. And then there was this noise, and like a foghorn noise. And I'm like, what is that? And it was the lighthouse. There's a lighthouse in Land's End. And I Googled it. I was like, what is this noise? And I Googled it and it found out that the actual lighthouse was broken.
Coffee machine doesn't work at the moment. It's the power's not working to that. I think it's pushing out too much power, so we have to figure that out later on. I may have to start my day with good old trusty hydration.
When I started on day one, woke up, not a great night's sleep the night before, but I was excited to start. Got to the start point almost bang on time. I wanted to start about 6, I think it was 6:02 or around 6 o'clock in the morning. And from there started.
1,000 miles. First time the bag's going on.
Everything kind of hit me because I was like, I've definitely got to do this now. I'm here.
I'm excited. I'm really excited to get started. It's been a long time coming. So good. I'm really looking forward to getting started. It's just the build up.
Got to the start point, very excited. I'm starting the challenge. Thank the Lord I got to the start point, which was a big part of the challenge just to get started.
Right, we're at the start point. We're about to start the 1,000 mile Ruck challenge, and here we go.
It was very tough. From the get-go, I thought, what have I let myself in for here? Excited, but also nervous about the day, how many miles I'm going to get today. I wanted to aim for somewhere around 40. It was pitch black and it's harder to know where you're going to navigate in the dark, although I had a head torch, but just made a good pace from the start. When I chose the dates for the challenge, March, I knew it was going to be cold, I knew it was going to be wet, I knew it was going to be miserable, but actually it wasn't that bad.
31 miles in, I feel great to be honest, but apart from my sore throat, just gonna have a little 15 minutes chill time.
From there, throughout the first day, again, I was really excited and ended up smashing out about 43 miles. As the day went on, it got harder and harder for me, although I was still excited. But at the end of the day, I was like, wow, I've still got 960 odd miles to go. So, and I was feeling fatigued at the end of the day. Start the challenge, day one goes great, swimmingly. 43 miles in the bank. Don't feel too bad, although I went from dark to dark, or it was dusk. Got that out of the way. Day two, also woke up feeling quite good, knowing that I'm going to be starting on day two. We're in the thick of it now, there's no turning back.
Right, we're here, day two, rucking 1,000 miles, carrying a 35-pound pack. Let's go.
Start day two, get midway through day two, start to feel niggles, ankles start hurting, knee starts hurting, hips start hurting. Now I know, wow, I've got 950 odd miles to go here and I'm already feeling the pain. There's a lot of admin around the challenge and admin points I hadn't even thought about. So when it comes to the back end or the start point of a challenge, how am I actually going to get this camper van from A to B? How am I going to get the administration side sorted? Luckily, the man, the myth, the legend, Andy, one of my best friends and brother-in-law, decided and reached out to me and said that he'd be willing to take 25 or 27 days out of his own life to come and do this for me. Day two, it was a tough day for me. Woke up pretty excited, knowing that I had to complete still 960 odd miles. I had a bit of a problem with my pack because I'd carried too much weight. I didn't find this out until the end of the day, but I was carrying around 45 pounds. The weight was meant to be 35. So that extra weight was putting a lot more fatigue on my body. In Bodmin, as I said previously, it was very, very difficult for me mindset-wise with all the long cycle paths and not seeing anybody, and also there was no signal on my phone. Now the phone was a great part of this challenge because that's how I communicated with Charlie and Andy, so my support team, and at points in Bodmin I couldn't speak to those for at least a couple of hours, so it was very, very difficult because there was no parking near where I was. There was no way for me to send signal or communication to those. There was no way for them to really find me, although we did use an app called Commute, which they had my route so they could find me, but where was I? They had to figure that one out. Those miles in Bodmin, every mile felt like 5, and that was because I hadn't spoke to anybody and I was really in my own mind. For some reason, I even got back to the camper van after being on those long trails in Bodmin, and I put my flip-flops on for some reason because my feet were hurting me so much, and started walking with my flip-flops on. Don't do that. 20 minutes chill, then back out. You know what I mean? Yeah. Don't want to kick the arse out of it. All right, let's get these on.
Stop, I'll give you that.
That's kind of where I thought I could actually fail this. So I put my flip-flops on with I wanted to do 5 or 6 more miles. Ended up walking for a mile, which was uphill, which was the worst thing that could have happened to me. And then I ended up just walking back to the camper van and calling it a day there because I was like, I just can't do any more. I need to just recoup and just get back in the right mindset.
Fuck's sake, man.
My brother-in-law, who was also the driver and my main admin guy, did everything apart from wipe my arse, to be honest. It was a great guy on it. And at the back end of the day, he seen that I was down and it looked like I may fail the challenge. So what he did, he actually booked me into a close by hotel and said, go in there, get yourself a bath, recoup yourself and get a night in a bed. Day 3 hits and then it really gets into my mind that I'm still not even at 900 miles yet. And I've still got 900 miles left, sorry. I've not even done 100 miles.
Right, you filming?
Yeah.
Day 3.
Unholy war, but demons are coming. Boy, you better run. Go take your freedom. Within the water.
Do you like tea?
Right, what do you think? Everyone have a look at this tea.
When somebody says make your dad a cup of tea, make it like piss so you don't want another one.
When I looked at the map, the first few days, I was like, I'm not actually getting anywhere. 3 days, I'd moved about an inch. I hadn't even got through Cornwall into Devon, and I was like, I don't think I'm able to do this.
35 miles.
The first few days were just not moving on the map at all, so I was like, I need to get to Cardiff, because when I got to Cardiff, I know I was going in a straight line up the country.
Still got the bad boy there. Old McDoon still ain't popped. I think there's another blister there. I think there's some more on the bottom I can't quite see.
The distance covered and travelled in the first few days, it didn't even feel like I'd moved. So it was a bit of it was mind games again with myself, just to be like, just keep going. You can do this, you can get through up to Cardiff, because my main aim in my brain was to get to Cardiff, where it was a nice straight shot up the country.
I'm walking, it's a good sign. Day 4 of running 1,000 miles carrying a 35-pound pack. Let's go.
Moving through, doing a couple more days, I've drawn back the mileage because I knew that 40 miles was it was too much for my body. And I thought, if I keep continuing on with 40 miles per day, I'm going to be getting injured here. So I need to draw back the miles.
Day 4, about 12 miles in. I'm just going to have a bit of a recovery now. I've had a bit of an issue with my ankles and my knees over the past couple of days. We're about 125 miles in, I think.
When I started the challenge, I had the aim of doing 40 miles a day or more. And then when I got my issues with my ankles, blisters, knees, back, I had to scale back those miles to somewhere around 35, which mentally for me was difficult because I knew that I was going to be falling behind on the challenge.
Always positive. Just my body, I don't want it to break. My body breaks, my body will break before my mind. I want to see the ankle thing done as well.
Luckily, my brother came down, gave me a really good insight into how to recover my body a little bit better. He's very knowledgeable in that area.
But it's not smooth here, so that's fine.
He gave me loads of different recovery strategies, also gave me some good motivational speeches, and also said to me, because most of my bad decisions, most of my negative thoughts were coming in the evening past 5 p.m. where I wanted to quit or wanted to give up. He said to me, do not make any decisions after 5 p.m.
Right, buenos dias, round 2. We're going to try and get a few more miles in. I think we're probably going to get another, I don't want to eat my own words, but somewhere between 5 and 10.
What's the time now?
Time is too late.
6:51.
6:51.
And you're going again?
Yep, started at what? 5 a.m. this morning. Well, I was up at 5. I'm about to go again. Feel good, so I need to get those miles in while I feel good. Miles, I think so.
I never make any decisions when I'm tired or when it's past 5 p.m. Wait till the next day and see how you feel. And every time I did that, I felt better the next day and I was ready to rock and roll. The best thing you can do is go to bed. Next day, the new day is always going to be a better day.
It's party time.
And the next day, let's do another 30 mile.
Before the challenge, a good friend of mine, Luke, who I've known for, well, since I was a little kid, we lived across the road from each other.
But I've never gone past a half marathon, so I don't know what it's going to do.
Yeah.
We're both 38, we went to school together, we grew up together, and we've both been part of each other's weddings, so we're really good friends. So when Luke said to me that he was going to come down, he was also raising some money for the charity with me.
Hope you don't slow me down, mate. Let's go.
And when he come down and said that he was going to do a 40 mile or so stint with me, which Luke has no previous tabbing, rucking experience. He has not really any running experience. He's only ran 13 miles before. So when he come down and said that he was going to do a full day with me, it was a great boost for me, knowing that if he did do that with me, then I knew that it was possible for me to do it because I trained so hard.
Right, guys.
Yo, yo, yo!
I'm running on popcorn and chocolate.
And seaweed.
You Yeah, seaweed. Yeah, see what's in his bag.
So when Luke came down, it was a great boost for me. And throughout the day, we had a good laugh, and it didn't feel like I'd done that day. It was so much of a good crack. And he actually ended up getting about 40 miles in, which was super impressive. And actually that day is where I pushed on past the 40 miles and started to recoup some of those miles back.
Ew! I'm 200 miles in. Didn't quit on day 1, didn't quit on day 2, didn't quit on day 3, didn't quit on day 4, didn't quit on day 5.
When I moved out of the countryside, started to move into more urban areas, it was really nice because I was going through some amazing towns, amazing little villages and cities even. So it was amazing for me because I was even stopping sometimes and getting myself a well-earned coffee. I know I love my Costa coffee and things like that. So I was managing to stop and get a little coffee when I wanted one. I didn't feel so isolated. So it was nice to be around people and just to be able to look at things that were interesting. I did really like that. I had the idea to raise money for Reorg, the charity that helps veterans, blue light responders and serving soldiers. So for Sam, who's one of the founders of Reorg, to come down on one of the days and support me, he brought me down loads of goodies. We had a really good chat about where I thought I was and where I wanted to be with the challenge. And also it was great to see him and Reorg supporting me. And if I needed anything, Sam was always there to give me the inspiration and the push that I needed. So it was great for Sam to come down and give me some motivation on a well-needed day. I know I did get quite emotional when me and Sam were in the van and we were talking about the challenge, how I was helping people within the Reorg community. And it really did get to me because I was like, I seen the scale of the challenge. In my mind, I was like, I've still got a long way to go. I was very emotional about missing family. And also I didn't want to fail the challenge. So I did break down slightly. I did get very emotional with Sam, but he gave me a good drive and some really good motivation in the fact of it is hard and that's why you're doing it. And that was the reality of it really. This challenge is to some unthinkable and it is impossible for 99.9% of this world's population to even think about or even fathom this challenge. So that's why I was getting a bit emotional on that day. We keep plodding on. The mileage is slightly dropping behind. I'm probably around 40 miles behind where I should be at this point, which is no biggie. I'm trying to know in my mind that I can pull back those miles if needed towards the back end of the challenge. I don't want to peak too early in the middle of the challenge because I really wanted to give it some beans at the end. I really wanted to show off. When I crossed into Wales over the big old bridge, I was like, yes, I've got through Devon, Cornwall, and now I'm through to Wales. When things got tough for me throughout the challenge, I always turned to my family and my faith. I have a great support network around me, and throughout the challenge I knew that there was something pushing me throughout this challenge to get me to where I wanted to be. I do believe that was my family, faith and the positivity that was surrounding it. I remember one of the nights where I was like, I can't put pressure on my ankle again. My ankle's finished. I don't know how I'm going to be able to finish this challenge.
Ankles are in absolute bobbins, I can tell you that now. I've been in a world of pain today.
One thing I wasn't quite ready for is how uneven the British roads are, how uneven the pavements are and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of the time I spent in the gutter, either on the left-hand side of the road or the right-hand side, which is, if you look at the road, you don't really see it. But if you walked in the side of the road, you'll see there's always an angle so much as where the rain drains. So there's always going to be a slight angle. Now, over time, walking on that angle, either if I'm on the left-hand side of the road, my left-hand side of my body's going to take a hammering. Same on the right-hand side, my right-hand side of my body's going to take a hammering. I wasn't ready for that. and it did actually ruin my trainers a lot quicker than what I thought it would. So my trainers were only lasting about 300 miles, whereas normally they'd last about 600. So when I looked at my trainers, the insides of my trainers were wearing away at points they hadn't before, and also the heels and the sides of my trainers were wearing away at tremendous speeds. So what I had to do there is change my strategy again and change trainers throughout the challenge, and end up changing my trainers 3 times. I think 4 pairs of trainers I actually wore throughout the whole challenge, and that was just to that fact. Nothing's even. There's no roads or paths or even running on the path. I'm used to running on the paths in the UK because you can't just run down the main roads. So even on the paths across different terrains, especially in Scotland and in Wales, they were literally on a right proper angle. So making sure my body was used to that was a challenge in itself. Donations started to fly in, especially after the meeting with Sam. So every donation I got a notification on my phone, and it was amazing for me because given that extra drive, knowing that every £10, £50, £100 that came in, I was almost a little bit closer to my £10,000 target. Pulled back the miles all the way through the middle of the challenge, going through various points of the UK, all the way through Cornwall, Devon, Wales, going through the Midlands, which is where I'm from. When I passed the Midlands, pertinent point for me, knowing that it looks like on the map that I'm halfway, although I wasn't quite halfway. But it was great for me to see mentally that I was making progress on that map. There was parts of the challenge where I should have had a physio. Maybe I should have took a physio with me, but very expensive to have a physio with me for 25 plus days. So I decided and opted not to take one with me. I thought I'd be able to get a physio throughout the challenge where I needed one, but that became very, very difficult. I tried to get a physio at numerous points of the challenge, but I couldn't get one.
11 mile in, not bad for a morning, is it?
So at parts of the challenge, I was going through areas that I knew, areas that I'd been or seen on the map, and it was very motivating for me to go through those places. So for instance, getting through Cornwall and Devon, amazing. It was done. Getting into Wales, phenomenal. I knew I was going on a straight line up the country. Getting into the Midlands was actually awesome. Also getting into, I know we've seen a sign saying welcome to England, although I thought we were in England the whole time, but seeing that welcome to England sign was also a great motivational boost for me, knowing that we're actually making some progress up the country.
Wow, mate, awesome.
Thanks for running down. How far was it down?
I've only come to 12 Ks.
Was it?
Yeah, yeah.
Mal's come down for motivation.
Good friend of mine, Malvin Downs, came down to see me. Me and Mal have been good friends for quite some time.
Mindset.
Mal's former Special Forces, really good athlete and a great guy. He said to me before the challenge he was going to come down and do a little bit with me somewhere near Stoke, and he was true to his word. Came down, buzzed me up, and I actually had a few of the fastest miles that I'd had throughout the whole challenge when Mal came down. So that was a really good boost for me, for someone with great motivation, a good leader to come down and give me a good drive towards the middle of the challenge.
Last few miles get you good. It's always like, I'm alright for the first, the morning's good. Always have a good morning. Well, I sometimes have a slow couple of miles, but now my niggles are starting to get a bit better. It's have a bit faster and have a nice morning, and then it just deteriorates through the day. The back end of the day is tough, but that's why I'm trying to get finished before it gets dark, because it gets even tougher when it's dark. I'll save the dark mornings and dark nights till later on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Some of the funniest moments that I had throughout the challenge was actually the sleeping part. So where am I going to sleep? Now I was sleeping in the camper van, but parking up was quite difficult. So a lot of the time We slept in Asda car parks, on the sides of roads, in lay-bys, and it was difficult sometimes because it was loud, and you're sleeping in a car park, it doesn't quite feel natural, but we got used to it, and it was one of those things where we had to do what we had to do, and it was very cheap to stay in those car parks. So I think it cost around £2 to £3 to stay in a car park, whereas to stay in a campsite was like £70. So I brought the cost down of the challenge by sleeping in those car parks. Almost from the get-go, I had injuries, and my injuries were there throughout the whole challenge, but there were days where my injuries didn't feel as serious. I'm not sure whether I just got used to the injuries or whether my recovery protocols actually were working better, my strategies were changing. So when I had them good days, I made sure that I did push a little harder and a little faster. Right, we're off down to pharmacy now to get an ankle brace. It's late at night and I can't put load on my ankle. I had a really bad end to the day and I'm really worried to start tomorrow. I don't want to start tomorrow and I'm to keep stopping really early. So I'm going to go and get a couple of braces now for my ankle and hopefully it helps in the morning. If it doesn't, I'm just praying to God that it makes some difference because I can't put load on it. And I'm absolutely gutted because I felt amazing as well at the start of the day. What a day. I'm going to get into bed now. It's about 9 o'clock. I'm going to get in bed. And hopefully my ankle feels better in the morning. We've got the knee sleeves, we've got some ankle sleeves now. So I've got two. I've got one here and I've got one on. And hopefully it makes a difference, but I'm unsure of these because they look a bit Lidl style. So we'll see. Good night.
6 degrees it was.
And when I actually put that ankle brace on, it really did relieve the pressure slightly, along with painkillers and creams and all that sort of stuff, ice. So when I did that, it helped me get through a couple of days, which I don't think I'd have been able to get through as quick as what I did without those braces. Although, a big thing that I did and I noticed is that when I was wearing the ankle brace, I started to feel pains in other parts of my feet. So when I had it on my ankle wasn't hurting, but because the ankle brace was so tight, I was feeling it across the bottom half of my feet, and I was also causing some friction around my toes, or just this side of my toes, and it was causing more blisters. So I had to make the decision to only wear it when the pain was excruciating and then take it off when it wasn't excruciating. So it was a lot of take it off, put it on, but towards the back end of the challenge I took it off completely. Bedtime's the worst time of day, just because you can't get away from it. You know, when you're walking, you're looking at things, you're doing things, you're talking to people. When you're in bed, you're just lying there just thinking about the pain. Right, we're ready to rock and roll. Day 14, 1,000 mile Ruck challenge. Let's go. 500 miles today. 500 miles is probably the hardest point, or the second hardest point after Bodmin, that I actually came across, because everyone was very nice. Everyone on social media was saying, oh, you're halfway, it's downhill now. But in my own brain, I knew that all the struggles that I'd had across the first 500, I was then going to face over the second 500. So mentally, that 500 mile point was very, very difficult. When I reached the Lake District, it was absolutely phenomenal. I've got family that are from Lake District, so I knew when I got to the Lake District, I was on the back end of the challenge, and it was so scenic, it was beautiful, especially when I got to Lake Windermere. Absolutely phenomenal. We got there with the Union Jack on the lake, and then awesome, the planes came over, so it was like I had my own little escort through the Lake District. So that was an absolutely great point for me through that part of the challenge.
500 miles in to a 1,000 mile Ruck challenge. We're halfway. Let's get it.
Oh, we get what we did. and way down we go, 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 go. Way down we go, 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 go. So way down we go, way down we go.
I've had so many thoughts about it, visualised the end. I've visualised the end since I even thought about the challenge, and I know it's going to be absolutely amazing just to get to the end, get it completed, and then get back to enjoying some family time and see my son and my wife. Can't wait.
Yeah.
515 miles in.
Where did you start?
I started at Land's End, I'm going all the way to John O'Groats.
That's
But I'm
impressive.
taking a scenic route, so I'm going 1,000 miles instead of 850.
What do you run a day?
Somewhere in between, my lowest day's been 33 and my highest 45. And I've got a 35-pound backpack on as well.
Along the whole challenge, I met some great people, people that donated to the charity, people that gave me a bird's eye view of the challenge that I was doing, because I was stuck in the challenge. I was rucking, tabbing every day, get out the van, walk, stop, eat, walk, stop, eat, sleep. So when people were asking me about the challenge and I managed to actually talk about what I'd done and where I'd been and what I was doing, it was awesome for me because it showed me that people were behind me and people reiterated to me how big and how hard and how monumental this challenge was. So meeting these people along the way was awesome for me because it gave me an extra drive to what I was actually doing.
Absolutely freezing today. Day 15. Over halfway. 4 AM start. Let's go.
I had a great childhood, great mum and dad, brought up in a great area, and a very loving granddad. My granddad gave me my love for outdoors, so we used to go fishing and shooting, and I do believe that was where my mindset came from, being wet, cold and miserable and enjoying it.
Yeah, and I thought, let's keep doing 26, 20. Oh, cheers, mate, thank you. What's your name?
After leaving school, I'd had multiple jobs and always had a love for the military. And when my wife and I got married, she said, is there anything you want to do before you get too old? And yes, there was. I wanted to join the army. So she gave me free rein to go after my goals, go after my dreams. So from there, I went and joined the military, joined the Coldstream Guards, and set off on my career through the military.
Why?
Been taking it easy on, but been taking it easy, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm just gonna march myself to fucking death. I'm just gonna keep marching until I can't march anymore. I think that's the challenge as well. Just gotta keep going. Just gotta keep going. I'll try and hit 50 tonight. I'll try and hit 50. And then we'll start again tomorrow at 2 and see if I can get another 50.
So when I got to the Scottish border, I thought I was finished. I thought, I'm just going to keep walking now till I break down.
So we're going on.
Until I'm dead, yeah. I'm literally just going to keep going now.
For some reason in my mind, I was like, I'm falling behind on my miles. I'm too far behind. I'm not going to be able to pull it back. So I thought, right, tonight, I'm just going to keep going. I've done about 44 miles at the time. I'm going to walk until I've done 80 miles.
I'm at that point where I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to keep walking until I die. That's it, done.
And that was a bad point for me because I still had 400 odd miles to go. So I don't know what was going on in my mind at that point, but my brain was telling me to keep going. Just keep going, recoup all these miles that you've lost over the past week or so. But that was the wrong decision.
I don't know how long I'll last, not with this leg, but it was working a minute ago, so it hasn't failed me yet.
I'm really lucky that the people that were supporting me, Charlie and Andy, didn't try and influence the way that I was feeling. They just gave me the head torches to do my night ruck and just let me to it. And then when I was finished, I finally came to my senses, knowing that I couldn't do 80 miles for 5 days straight or 4 days straight, whatever it was. So they just led me to it. I decided I was finished. We got back to the camper van. We had a good chat. We actually came up with a code word actually, so that whenever I was feeling a bit like I wanted to just go rogue and just go ruthless on it, I said the code word and then just leave me alone, which was another, but looking back, a really funny moment in the challenge.
What's that?
So we get to Scotland. I have a bit of an up and a down phase. I've had ups and down phases all through the challenge. Wanting to quit throughout the majority of it, say after 20, 30 miles. Everything's hurting, everything's throbbing, ankles are killing me, knees are hurting, back's hurting because I'm carrying the bag. I'm thinking, I just want this to end. Like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this challenge? Some of the roads up in Scotland were long and just mind-numbing. Some of the roads I went on, one of the roads went on was like 40 miles straight, and it was more like a dual carriageway with a little side road. And that was very mentally and emotionally draining for me, because I knew, I could see it on my map and on the commute app that I had 40 miles down this straight road. So I had to really dig deep and just try to get that day done. Really, really tough to walk on singular roads for long periods of time.
You're doing your way in at the here or at the...
Really good friend of mine, Reddy, came down. Me and Reddy have been really good friends for about 5 years. Reddy was the first person ever to film me and take photos of me when I started my business when I was in the army, and we've been great friends ever since. We're more friends than we are work colleagues, and for him to come down and support me, flew all the way up to Inverness, got an Uber out to me, and then did some tabbing with me as well. So it was great to spend some of that time and build some memories with Reddy as well. Some of the great moments of this challenge have been some of the wildlife that I've seen and some of the connections that I've had with things in nature. Now, part of me believes that was because I was really in tune with nature. I was getting up in the morning, I was very calm, I was going throughout my whole day, and I think that aura around the animals really did play a part. And I really do, I have got more of a newfound love for different animals at the moment, so I think it was great to have that connection with different animals along the route.
So many hills today, I can't wait to see the elevation on it. That fucking Mount Everest back there. And I'm looking at my elevation statistics and what I'm about to do up in the Cairngorms, if you say it properly, is double what that, couple that one.
Yeah.
Really?
Double.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Feet. I've got sore feet in there, and it looks even worse when you got that, doesn't it?
$250 miles to go. So now I knew the challenge was in the bag. All I had to do was keep doing what I was doing, keep my recovery protocols on point, and just keep pushing day in, day out, and really start pushing towards the end of the challenge. So now it was time to show off and time to show what I had in the tank. I used the commute app throughout the whole challenge, which also tracked where I was going and also tracked the elevation across the distance. And every day I looked at the elevation of what I'd be completing that day. And I had the Cairngorms coming up, or the Cairngorms, and it said that the elevation was going to be almost double what I'd done in the previous like 17 days. So I knew that I had a hard point in that challenge coming up, but I knew I had to just dig in and just do my best with whatever came up. So people think the challenge is just me rucking, tabbing the length of the UK, carrying a 35-pound pack, but they don't see the admin behind it. So we have Andy driving the camper van, doing all the behind the scenes, feeding me, all that sort of stuff. But who's going to film the challenge? Who's going to film it from start to finish, to see the ups, the downs, and for everybody to see how hard the challenge really was? Luckily, I met Charlie, who I now class as being one of my best friends. Probably knows me better than some of my really close friends, slept in close proximity for 25 days, knows me better than anyone. And for him to film from start to finish and capture all those moments, it meant a lot to me, and it still means a lot to me now.
I've got about 100 metres left. All right. I'm coming to your house next week in about 3 days.
Miss you.
Yeah, next week. Daddy will be home.
When I started the challenge, I spoke to my wife, spoke to my family and said, look, I'm going to speak to you once a day, because if I speak to you more than that, it may affect my mindset, may affect the challenge, because I may want to be at home with you. So I made the decision for them not to come out and see me, and also that I'd speak to them once a day. So when I did speak to my wife and my son, which I spoke to every day, I absolutely loved it, because I'd be able to see, he was only 2 at the time, he's 3 now. So that was a real good boost for me each day to have that alone time with them, although it was on FaceTime for that 30-40 minutes each night. The Highlands, Scotland, everyone knows the score. Bit more arduous, more hills, definitely beautiful, great place to be marching, to be rucking, tabbing. So when I hit the Highlands, it was awesome. I knew that I was coming towards the back end of the challenge. Also having that extra motivation, speaking to my family, speaking to my son at that point, knowing that I'm almost done was great for me, knowing that I've only got a few more days to complete and I'll be back home with my family.
750 miles!
Oh yeah.
When I did reach the 750 mile point, then I knew 100% that challenge was mine, and I needed to up the pace and try and really claw back those miles. So the 750 mile mark was absolutely phenomenal for me. My mindset was up and down from day 1 to day 25. Strategy changed almost every day. Felt good, felt bad all day. So for me, the only time I really knew the challenge was in the bag was when I reached 750 miles. Family, friends, all telling me that you need to complete this for yourself. Yes, I'm doing it for everybody else around me, for the charity, to lead by example, to inspire, but also for me. I'd never failed anything in my life. I've never given up on anything. So for me to give up on something, I know my mum said to me, she didn't raise a quitter when I rang her, and that every time I looked in the mirror, I'd see a failure, and that's how I'd feel with this. If I'd have stopped at any point, which I've never stopped anything and I still haven't, then I would have had to look at myself in the mirror for the rest of my life, knowing that maybe I could have put in a little bit more.
Right, day 22, we're 808 miles in, it's about 3 in the morning, and the weather's been on our side. This morning it is absolutely torrential rain outside, so I'll have my first day in real Scottish weather, and it sounds like I'm going to be like a drowned fish today. But let's go.
The final 4 or 5 days were massive days for me. They were in the region of somewhere between 45 and 94 miles. Now for me, that was phenomenal for me to see, because I knew I was getting stronger towards the back end of the challenge.
Last normal day tomorrow. Right, we're well into day 23. We're on about 875 or 880 odd miles. I haven't even looked. I've just literally came in for a bit of recovery.
Thinking about going absolutely ham tomorrow. Thinking about just getting up, a couple hours sleep tonight, and just going until the challenge is complete.
So I went to bed around 10 p.m. the night before the final day. Woke up around 10 minutes past midnight and I was like, right, I'm gonna go. Can't sleep, body's throbbing, I'm aching. I've got 1 day to go. This was day 23, moving into day 24. Thought, right, I'm gonna do it. So I did it, got up, told the lads to stay in bed, and then I set on my journey of 94 miles non-stop.
But that's like 30k.
I had a really good meal the night before the final day. I'd just finished 50 miles and I said to the lads in the van, when I wake up in the morning, somewhere around in between 12 and 1, I'm just going to go and I'm going to complete the rest of the miles and not stop.
All you could hear was wind and water. I didn't know where anything was. You know, so like my senses were like a little bit like, where is it? And then when the birds started tweeting and the light started coming, it was like, oh, it's like I don't know, you're in tune with nature, aren't you?
Should have seen their faces. They were in disbelief. They were like, this man is a madman. But I knew that is what it needs to be that's what needed to be done in that 25 days.
I'm just really excited to get it completed. I've had a couple of good phone calls with talking to my son and he's really excited to get me home as well, so I'm feeling really excited to get this. Get it done. Done.
This challenge has imprinted on me. Every moment across this challenge is imprinted on me. Things I've seen, things I've done, moments I've pushed through, boundaries I've pushed. It's all been a learning curve for me as an individual, as an athlete, as a coach. I think I've learned from every single day on this, whether it be administration, whether it be about programming, training, whether it be about mindset and things to tackle those parts of your mind and how to make sure that your body and mind is in unison, because your body and mind needs to be in unison for you to perform. So I think I've learnt so much from this challenge, not just mentally but also physically across the board.
I don't know how I'm going to feel when I finish. I've had a purpose every day to get up and hit and chop down the miles, so I'm really unsure of how I'm going to feel. I think I'm going to be elated, going to be a lot of elation, I'm going to be joyful to finish, but also probably a bit down as well, knowing that that's it, it's done.
Moving time was 25 hours, although it took me about 25, 26 hours with my rest periods throughout the day. Throughout that day, I had multiple stops, loads of food, loads of hydration, but I knew I could see the end in sight. I knew if I went at the pace I was going at, I'd be finishing the next morning around 5, 6, 7 a.m, which would set me in line for a great sunrise.
After 2 steps, I reckon you should go for it. It's 10 now. So you just go till, just be back to me for 2. That's 4 hours. You should be able to get a good bit of sleep then.
Well, I've got to.
Is that alright for you?
Yeah.
There is a house built out of stone, wooden floors, walls and window sills, tables and chairs warmed by all of the dust.
It's been going now for 26 hours on the last day. How many miles is ours in? 82 and a half, nearly 83 miles. We're up to 94, so we're motoring. We'll be there before sunrise, I think, but my body's in pain now. Not that it's not in pain anyway, for the whole thing, but more so.
This is a place where
Push through the night, push through the day, push through the night again, and then finally see the finish line in sight, and go for it.
Place where I feel at home.
This challenge really did live up to my expectations. It was the most toughest, most arduous, most mentally draining, most emotionally draining challenge that I've ever done. The hardest thing I've ever done. And that is how you run the length of the country, 1,000 miles, carrying a 35-pound pack.